Right guys, welcome to another episode of the Human Golf Show. Today we have Ryan, our lucky SM10 wedge giveaway. Super excited to do this with you today. I hope you get to learn a lot. I know you actually, once you won the wedges and we actually released that into public, you phoned me after that and said, listen, you asked me questions about the wedges. It was very cool. But thanks for being here and taking your time on the weekend to do this with us. I've also taken my weekend, but so yeah, if anyone doesn't know, this is twins on deck. He's got a twin brother, famous DJ, so also go give them a follow. Really cool stuff that they do, man. And super excited to get started.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Let's get me to break these high numbers, you know. And
yeah, we're going to go through the process like a normal wedge fitting that you do at TrueFit Golf. So yeah, let's have a go and let's start.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions before we hit. I know chipping's not your strength, but do you have any bad shots with your lob wedge? We're going to start with the lob wedge right now.
Okay.
You know, from a duff shot to a thin strike to inconsistency and ball flights, like what is your inconsistencies with your lob wedge at the moment?
At the moment, look, strike is fine. It's the ball flight and you do get your duffs.
Okay.
The duffs are there.
Okay.
So I'm looking for the most forgiveness.
Most forgiveness and
no
most
egos at the door.
Okay. Most forgiveness and then obviously something that just works consistently for you around the greens. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, we're going to hit a couple of shots with your wedge. Let's have a look and see what that does. If I do see a couple of technique flaws, I might add that in just to help the process a little bit.
Perfect.
So let's have a couple of chips and see what happens. Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's just not clean enough.
Okay. So I'll go through that now. I'm going to get you to hit like 3 or 4 shots. I just want to have a look at strike, what it sounds like at impact, etc.
Okay.
Okay, first things first, a little bit of technique. I mean, chipping's a feel thing, right? But if you have if you do have technique flaws, I think let's first start with that, because then we'll have a solid foundation. So when you chip, I see you've got quite an accelerated backswing and then you deaccelerate on it. So at impact, you sort of slow down.
Yeah.
And due to nerves, if you're playing for money and stuff like that, your impact zone
is going to
change all the time, where I want you to actually be a lot more accelerated through the ball than deaccelerated through the ball right now. So what you're doing is you're getting very jerky on the way back. Your technique's actually pretty good. I like how you take the wedge back a lot. Okay. A lot of guys tend to take the wedge outside the line and that just exposes the face, it exposes the bounce, it exposes everything. So your technique's quite good. So what I want you to do is feel like you're a little shorter on the way back and then light the candle at impact. So if you had to light a match at impact, so just be a little shorter and more aggressive with it. Get used to that feeling first.
Yeah.
And then we'll start playing around with the wedges. So you get what I'm saying?
Got it.
So feel like you're a lot more shorter, because I feel like you're getting long, quick, and then you slow down at impact.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
that's fine. That's fine. Listen, we're not here to make you look pretty. We're here to get you the right wedges. So.
But yeah, I was focused on the speed more than anything there.
Yeah, so feel, I mean, it's not a long chip, right? So feel quite short on the way back and then accelerate through impact a little bit. Okay, just carry on. Okay, the other thing that I also see is your ball position is quite far forward. So I want you to try put it on the back foot and just do exactly what you've been doing. There we go. Okay.
Felt like I was...
Don't worry. Listen, this is not a lesson fitting right now, but I just want to go through your technique.
Right clubs.
Yeah, and then just do me a favor, just address the ball. So your hands are quite far behind. Just try to do a little forward press like you putting. Yeah, and then start it from there, forward press. That's a better strike.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So you chipping with your hands quite behind the ball.
And that brings the problems.
You're exposing and the bottom of the face, and then you're also exposing the bounce if you have the incorrect bounce. So forward press, back foot, and then go. See how much better that strike is.
So much, and I know it's going to be there, so it's...
And then from that baseline, we can start chatting about the different bounces due to the right technique. You get what I'm saying? Forward press, back foot, go. See, strike's a lot better.
Yeah,
a lot better, and the reaction,
center,
the reaction on the greens is very consistent. You know, do you know what I mean by reaction?
Yeah. Okay. Whether it's going to roll out or stop.
Correct. So one more.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of a DXL. I don't know if you picked it up.
Yeah.
But it's a better result. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's have a look at your wedge. So you have a 10 bounce, which is on the high side of things when it comes to lob wedges. You obviously, with Vokey, you get a 4 bounce, an 8 bounce, a 10 bounce, a 12 bounce, and a 14 bounce. So this, I would say, is a standard bounce for lob wedges.
For the average golfer.
For the average golfer, slap bag in the middle. When you chip, I can hear it, that the club is bouncing a little bit too much. And that's where you get that inconsistent strike. Because if you think about it, if you think about it, if the bounce is working too much at impact, okay, the strike location, everything is going to be inconsistent due to if you're playing on firm grass, fluffy grass, etc.
Exactly.
So just so you know, I'm sure you've maybe watched our fitting episode. High bounce is very good for fluffy, softer surfaces, and then lower bounce is obviously suited for your Joburg winter courses. So very hard, firm surfaces, firm bunkers.
You don't need help getting there.
Correct. Okay. So the bounce obviously helps you get the ball up in the air and stops you technically from getting the club to dig and duff. So a lower bounce has obviously got a very sharp edge to it, and all it wants to do at impact of the lower bounce is dig. So obviously technique versus bounce obviously is a factor as well. Okay.
It's a blade versus a...
Well, they're all blades, but...
Cavity. But it's like blade versus cavity.
Correct, correct. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a lob wedge, which I think that's the right one. So I'm going to lower the bounce from a 10 degree to an 8 degree. Okay. So slightly lower bounce, because I feel right now, based on sound and strike, that we need to get rid of some bounce. Okay, so do exactly the same with what you've been doing now. Same technique, just back foot.
Even on the practice swing, you can feel it's just...
Can you feel
it's better. It's
it's a lot more smooth.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay,
so do you like hitting those floater types of chips?
Yeah, so maybe it was to my own detriment, but when I broke my leg and I started chipping in the yard. Okay. And all I could do was, I had a cast on, and I was just chipping. Okay. And it's those shots that I learned in that 6 weeks. Okay. So even if, it's a bad thing, but on a normal, if the flag is there and there's no obstacle here, I'd use a 56, but 9 times out of 10 I'd use a 60. Okay. So, and then I just know where it's going to stop or so. Correct. And obviously each to their own. I need to understand the type of shots you're hitting in order to build your wedges. Makes sense. Look at that action. Look at that action. See, and I was looking there because I'm thinking it's going to go left. Correct. That's exactly what. And can you hear the sound difference between the 8 bounce and the 10 bounce? Yeah, there's no double. The 10 bounce feels very... I hear double take there. Yeah, very sclaffy. Yeah. Okay. Where this is a lot more crisp. Look at that action. My man. Something just as simple as bounce. Just as bounce. Obviously 60 is always going to be in your bag. That's what you come from. But the bounce is so crucial. Look at that. I mean, how the ball is reacting right now looks like you're a 1-2 handicap. When we started, I promise you, I don't know if I would get you to say you would break 80 at the moment, but... So I went a bit more aggressive there, but it's what I wanted. Correct. Sure. And then this, I see this is M. M. What's M? So there's a bit of... You didn't quite explain that in your video. There's a bit of history with regards to the letters in the wedges. I'm not going to name all of them right now, but
it's basically labeled for specific people or grinds. So the M grind, and they're probably going to have to put subtitles on this. So when Bob Vokey was making the wedges, it's quite hard to get the 8 bounce grind, let's call it made, molded, manufactured and grind into the finished product. So he said M grind is for grind, because it's the hardest wedge to actually get perfect and make and mold, and you know.
So I'm for this guy.
Yeah, well, maybe you are a mofo. But and then obviously like the 4L grind, which is the older version of the T grind, is for lefty. So that was made for Phil Mickelson, etc. So it's a little bit of history that not a lot of people know, but quite cool. That's exactly what I want you to do now. I want you to start opening the face and changing the shots. Oh, that's dirty. That's dirty. So with your 10 degree current wedge,
the 10 bounce.
The 10 bounce, sorry. The minute you open it, you're exposing the sole, and you're actually increasing the bounce at the bottom. So theoretically, if you had to go from standard when it's 10 and you open it, you might actually use the higher bounce.
And you're bringing in the problems.
You're bringing the problem. That's when the club bounces and you teeth it. And you have that inconsistent strike. So obviously you can see we're close to winter now, so the surface is quite firm at the moment, even though it's quite green.
My hands went back there, that's all.
But have a look at that reaction. I mean, not the best chip, but result was not bad for that type of shot.
But the spin that I'm feeling off this face is unlike, obviously I've never had SM
Vokeys.
Nothing, Vokeys.
Yeah. So obviously they've got the new groove pattern that they've introduced, which is very, very cool.
Oh, there's it.
Okay, remember...
sorry, but...
Remember when I said to you in the beginning with the technique, very jerky and long?
That was one of those.
Deaccelerate. So I want you to have, like when you chip, soft hands, feel very like fluid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There we go. So you can hear the bounce a little bit.
But I did it behind the ball there.
Correct. But here's the thing, right? So
but that will happen on the golf course.
This will happen on the golf course. If, like, I don't recommend hitting those types of shots in winter and when it's firm, because you're exposing the bounce and it's just going to bounce due to the hard surface. So you also, due to different conditions, so like summer and winter, be smart about the type of shots that you're selecting and the type of chips you're playing. So if your strength is hitting these high flop shots, right, you're going to have to go for the lowest bounce.
If that's what I'm going to go for.
If that's what you're going to go for, but that's only going to be winter based. So be smart, like don't be ridiculous and be a hero in winter when you know the club is not going to react nicely. That's really good action. So I'm not, look at that, look at that check. So I'm not interested right now for you to make chips and stuff like that.
But
there's
look,
a couple
if I'm chipping from, I mean, let's call 3 of those 20 balls there. I'm happy to put those there.
Yeah, 100%. So there's a couple of key factors, right? So the turf interaction and strike needs to be really, really smooth and crisp. Okay, your comfortability, putting the club down, I mean, different bounces look different at the bottom, so you've got more bounce.
So I feel like this, it's on the ground.
Yes.
So I'm not in fear of duffing it
or teething it, So I'm gonna change the wedge now to a lower bounce shortly, and then you're gonna actually, that's a really good chip, you're gonna actually see how the lower bounce has got a sharper leading edge, and that's gonna tend to dig. You know what I'm saying?
So if you're not focused properly in...
Correct. So do me a favor now. I like how you've hit a couple of different shots. Can you hit, just imagine you chipping with your sand wedge now, but you're hitting a lob wedge and just do a little bump and run.
Bump and runs.
So it's not, the purpose is not to get a lot of spin on it, but back foot, square the face up a bit more. So like move it from a 60 to a 58 degree when you put the forward press, correct, and then just hit a nice little bump and run. I want to see what happens at the turf. See, that's nice. I love this chip. And this chip under pressure, like when you're paying for money, I try keep, even with my lob wedge, I try keep it low.
Focus hands.
Just pick your landing zone, don't get it in the air too much, and just hit that go-to chip. I love this chip.
Okay, yeah. Less aggressive there, but yeah.
But you can get aggressive with this chip because you've got loft for it to react a little aggressive. There it is. If those balls went in the way, I would have loved to see where that goes. But you see now, so with the low little bump and run, I like that sound at the surface. It's super crisp, okay?
I mean, that feels like a 56-degree shot. But
correct.
You're controlling the distance so much.
And just so you know, if you go from square to there, you're decreasing the bounce. When you go from square to open, you're increasing the bounce. So now you're manufacturing a little D-loft and potentially moving it to a 6 bounce. I don't think 4 bounce you'd have to do that.
Okay, yeah.
But that's also the crucial thing in knowing how to utilize different shots and manufacturing the shot for different surfaces and bounces.
Okay,
so look at that, very average strike, but look at that. I mean, you've got a 2.5, 3 foot under pressure in money situations.
Look, that's not a 3-putt. That's
correct. The other key thing to this exercise is the educational part. So what I mean by that is, if you understand your wedges, how to manufacture the different types of shots, change the technique and bounce, you'll understand what to do when.
Exactly.
Versus summer versus winter, versus hard pan versus soft pan, then you're going to understand and pick the right shots due to the wedges that you have and circumstance. I want you to just hit a couple of wedge shots with the 12 bounce. So we're going to move to the D grind. The higher the bounce for someone that is very steep is going to be a very good wedge, because then the club doesn't really dig at the surface.
With that being said, are you talking more 50s, 54, 56 there?
No, for lob sand and gap wedge. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I mean by that, if I had to take a 60-04 and get quite steep on it, okay, do you see how that's bouncing? Okay, if I had to take a lower bounce, which is here, so you saw that turf interaction bounced and actually glided through due to the bounce working. Now I'm going to get steep. No, this is the 8. I'm going to grab the 4 now for you, but I'm going to turn it into a 6 with the forward press, right? So now if I'm going to get steep with that, look at that divot pattern versus that. And that's where the duff comes out. And if I had to just do that one more time, I'm not going to change the technique. Okay, I'm going to get steep on it again.
It's there, it's just helping.
It's just helping. The bounce is helping that turf interaction. Okay, so this is the 12. So what I want you to understand, you're going to hit some chips where your technique might be spot on. It's going to feel unbelievable. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it is an easier club to hit. Not saying it's the one, but just pay attention to that, because when I chipped with it the other day, I chipped with the 4. I was quite impressed by how it worked and how it felt. Obviously, I just didn't like the reaction, because it was bouncing and removing a lot of spin on the greens for me.
So then your distance control's out?
Correct, because then I don't know where to land it, and it's inconsistent in spin rate. Can you hear that clicky sound again at impact? It looks pretty.
But it's not, you can't control that click, you can't control it.
Okay, there you got a little steeper on that one versus the previous one.
There wasn't a fluid swing,
that's where the bounce actually saved you. Remember, like I said, it is an easy wedge to chip with if you don't practice a lot
and look, those weren't, I'm not going to say they were great shots, but it's all within 1 meter.
Correct. So you want to literally pick your poison, right?
Yeah. Do you want more control or more forgiveness?
That's the one I was waiting for. So now look at that. So can you hear that? That sounded like...
Because I hit it behind the ball, and I don't like the result.
No, 100%. It just looks very, very beginner.
Yeah.
Okay, now do me a favor, because that's the one I was waiting for. You didn't really hit a shot like that with the 8 bounce at all. So now I want you to open the face and hit your little floater shot, and you're going to see how that...
it feels like it's off the ground.
Yeah, it's exposed.
I mean, it feels like it's...
So the sole in the bounce is exposed. So now this is where
this is harder.
It's going to be super hard. You have to have really, really good hands to pull this off.
Once we're on this camera.
Don't worry, we can just beep it out. It's fine. But doesn't that make you feel nervous around that shot?
Yeah, because I mean, there's cameras here and they are expensive. I can't go.
We'll just send you an invoice if you hit a camera.
Oh, but that I couldn't have struck it better.
Yeah.
But I don't need that nerves.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to get, it's going to take some time to get used to. I just wanted you to feel the two extremes, right?
Yeah, I can chalk and cheese, eh?
So that's like a semi-shank.
Yeah, no, it was a shank. That went straight where the face was exposed to.
Do you know why it shanks? Because the bounce hits the surface and it influences where the face is going and moving.
It's, yeah, boom.
So I think it's pretty simple. We found the right wedge. I'm going to bring the 4. I'm waiting for the 4 now, just to show you the bottom extreme. But just hit a couple more chips with this 8. Do a couple of different techniques that we've discussed. So the low shot, the high shot, the mid shot. And just tell me if you feel like this is the one.
Oh, get in the hole.
Get in. And just remember, wedges is a personal preference, right? There's no right and wrong.
No one can tell you.
No, there's no right and wrong. You've got to really understand the different wedge options for what reason.
The best thing with my golf bag was when I got realistic.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, I was like, yeah, I want blades. I tried MCs. I tried, first day I got the MCs. Oh, amazing. Second, third, fourth, sold.
Well, the first round was just that excitement, like a little school kid getting a new toy type of thing.
You don't overthink and...
Yeah. Look at that action. Man. Look at that action.
Yeah. Look, the 8, the grind.
Mofo grind is the one.
I mean, and you grab guys' wedges out their bags and you're like, let me try. And then, but you actually don't know what you're
chipping with and what it means.
Exactly.
Look at that.
I mean, that I will put on TV.
Yes.
That felt.
No, that's unreal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get that 4-degree bounce now, but we're going to move to a little shorter shot chip. Oh, that was crisp.
Oof,
I mean, look at that.
Stops dead. I'm putting that. That's a gift. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
You know what Heinrich Brainers would say? That's nasty. Okay, so I think let's move over to a little shorter shot. Let's grab like 5 or 6 balls, and we're going to go into that dip there, and we're going to hit, you know, sort of a short-sided shot, uphill lie, different types of lies, and just get. I mean, this is a basic chip, right? Okay, so we're going to hit a couple of short chips here. So yet again, a little uphill slope.
Okay.
So perfect for higher bounce, because it's going to bounce. This is promoting, when you chip, this is going to promote sort of a dig into the ground, because you're hitting into the slope.
Yeah, and against the grain.
Say that again?
And if we can find something against the grain as well.
Correct, obviously. So shallow chipping method, if you've got a low bounce, works for this, because with this shallow it's going to glide through the grass. If you're a steeper chipper, you would obviously want a higher bounce for this situation. You don't choose a wedge based on one situation. It's got to be a full circle. So we'll we'll chip from here, and then we'll make it a little harder for you.
See, but so from this distance I wouldn't use a 60, if I'm going to be dead honest.
Yes, but I'm also putting you in a different comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
So we want to know what's right and wrong for different types of shots for this wedge.
Too much.
So, little bit of advice for this chip. I want you to almost feel like it's a putt, like a putting distance.
Okay.
I'm not saying you need to have no wrist into the shot, but this is literally almost like a feel of a putt in terms of distance. So don't get so long and deaccelerate it. Just get a little short bump and run putt type of vibe. And that's also going to promote less steepness on the shot. A little putt feeling, hands forward, and give it a little nice. Do you hear the contact?
Yeah, but I was very uncomfortable there.
Yeah, it's new though. I want you to not go past my foot. You're probably going to duff the F out of this. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll move away from you.
But yeah, no, it's real.
So I can see why you use a sandwich for this, because your technique and the way you chip is quite aggressive.
I would find myself in trouble doing this on a. So if I only had a 60.
Yes.
Like, this is me being very unorthodox.
Okay.
This would be me.
There's your shot.
Yeah, so I wanted to hear your advice first.
Each to their own. Yeah. And listen, so my technique is different to yours. So I'm just gonna show you like the two types of shot that I would do even with this bounce, okay? Is the one that I was trying to explain to you right now. So back foot and literally hit a bump and run,
yeah.
Okay? And then the other one, if you're nervous and you need to, you can't 3-putt or chip and 2-putt from here, you can literally Texas wedge it and go type of a thing. Okay.
They don't teach you these things on the driving range, that's the thing.
Correct. So each to their own. You need to go what's comfortable, but I need to test what the different types of shots with the current wedge, you understand?
Yeah. See, that's the problem with that aggressive technique.
Yeah.
And there's the flaw in my game.
Like, why not putt from here as well?
Exactly.
Like, do a little Texas wedge. Like, hold it like a putter, open the face, expose the bottom of the thing, and just have a little putt. And why not?
Wow, that looks ugly.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah,
you get what I'm trying to test,
yes,
right?
Yes, exactly that.
Let me put you in an awkward, uncomfortable shot, short side. I mean, you can't use a putter from here. Yeah. Well, you could, but I wouldn't.
A bunker, no green to work with.
Yeah. Just mind Mornay, please. We don't.
Hey.
I need my producer / cameraman / master of everything. And I will say, like, the surface here is not like the best surface. So
but this is realistic.
It's realistic. It's not like a river club surface right now, to be honest. So it gives you a basic. So close. That was unreal.
Yeah. So I'm never like frightened of these shots on a golf course. I'll take this over doing that any day.
Okay.
So the previous shot.
Okay.
Oh, and it stops so nice.
Yeah, I like both shots now. You could hear it was crisp.
Yeah.
It landed like what is a good example?
Dead center. Eh?
Yeah. What?
Little lobby lob.
Yeah. It's almost like what is it? A teardrop or raindrop in soccer, where the ball just goes like that. Raindrop. Yeah. So when you play American Scramble, I'm going to short side you all the time, because it looks like this is where you want to be.
It. The bounce helped me there. Get in the hole.
Yeah.
Ooh. The bounce helped me there.
So you enjoy that?
Yeah.
Okay.
08 mother.
08 mother. Okay, we're going to hit a couple of bunkers to finish off with the lob wedge. Here's a trick to understanding bounce. You can manipulate the face according to that wedge on the different surface. So if you have a very fluffy lie, open the wedge,
face, yeah.
Because then the leading edge doesn't dig and you're going to duff it all day if you keep it square at impact. And then obviously if you have a firmer surface, keep it squarer and let the leading edge dig to actually get it underneath and go forward. It makes sense. So going back to what we said earlier, it's understanding your individual wedge for different surfaces and adjusting
it. Want from
correct. It. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's...
Question, when you go into a bunker, and I'm just being a random question, you don't dig your feet in and like stabilize and feel how much sand is underneath it. And
why do you want to be sexy about it?
But then how do you know what's firm and what's soft?
So I saw when you kicked this thing.
But then what happens if you don't know?
If I don't know,
you go to a new golf course and you walk in and you're like, okay, it feels quite firm.
But then like, chance, how's the bunkers? Because I can't tell like this.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to tell until I actually hit my first shot. So now I know the consistency of the sand, I might be able to get it closer.
But don't you think now, so if I go there, so I feel like this is mid. It's not soft, it's not firm. And then if I go to the upslope and do the same, because there'll be a lot more sand, I can feel it.
And the water's actually here, not
yeah,
there.
so then it's a lot more softer, yeah.
I've never actually thought of that.
It's not cheating, right? It's just using your elements to understand.
It's like looking at the grass.
Yeah, looking at the grain, yeah, 100%. So random question, it's just
like
to get your...
As the average golfer, I don't ever think of that.
Well, so here's a good question, right? Let's say your average score 78, 80. You get to a new course and you make a double or triple because you've teethed it because you didn't know what was underneath you, and then you have the rest of the round good. You know what I'm saying?
I never had that train of thought.
And it's a question to get your mind thinking. I'm not saying change technique and I'm being anal about it, but you get what I'm saying. Shot. So you know what I like about you?
Slip.
What I like about you, you're quite aggressive. So that lower bounce, you've got a mid to low bounce option, is very good for you. If you had to go for a higher bounce option and be aggressive,
to my detriment.
Yes, you get what I'm saying. So I like the fact that you're aggressive. I think it does match this wedge. Do me a favor, I'm using you as a test dummy, not to actually make you look pretty. I want you to close the face, hit a normal bunker shot, so just expose the leading edge. I want to show you how changing the face actually influences the strike in the bunkers. Yeah, so close the face and carry on. Same technique.
Yeah, that one.
Can you see how it digs?
And it was heavy.
Can you see how heavy this is versus that? Yeah. Okay, now next one, I want you to expose everything. Open it to the max that you can, right? So obviously the more open, if you open it that much, I need you to open your stance and change your angles a little bit. Make sense? Yeah. And then same technique, nice, aggressive through it, expose that bounce a little bit and have a look what it does. So, but here's the thing, right? You're uncomfortable and I'm just giving you those options to test, to understand.
Because I'm going to need that shot anyway.
So that shot is for the short-sided. You're not gonna open and go for that shot based on that, unless the sand is super fluffy and not dry, fluffy and soft. Okay. Sure. So you were my test dummy. That was not to look pretty, but the reason why I'm doing this exercise is education with regards to fitting is huge. And you've got to understand.
Do you know there's not much educational videos online for the golfer that's like me? Yeah. The dabbling between 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 handicap, you know?
100%. And that's why we do this for the show. That's why we started the show. Obviously we have TrueFit and we go through this experience with you. And it's a whole educational process. It's not a sales pitch for you to buy wedges today. Definitely. And obviously you've won the wedges, but you know what I'm saying, the wedges are going to sell itself and the process is going to sell itself. And I think educational is vital to the golf game and to fitting and just everything in general when it comes to golf. If you know more, you can understand more and react to more, you know?
Exactly, and improve the game.
Last wedge on the lob wedge that I want you to try is the 4T grind, right? So super low bounce. I've explained the different bounces to you with different techniques and options. So like we did now earlier in the fitting, I want you to feel the extremes. So I want you to hit your normal shot. It's probably going to feel amazing to you, but then I want you to do a little steep shot and a little flop shot, and you'll actually see the difference in this wedge versus the mofo grind. Oof. Oof. It is nice. Oof. just remember right now, the surface
is not always going to be so clean.
There's no right and wrong. We haven't decided on the 8 yet.
Yeah, true.
So this is the reason why we're testing this as well. This could be the surpriser. So remember, the surface is quite firm at the moment.
Which the lower bounce is
lower bounce is better for firmer surfaces, correct. Oh, that's nasty. So what some people do, and unfortunately you've only won 3 wedges, so I'm not insinuating anything, but some people will have a winter wedge and a summer wedge.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't understand why I would put this in my bag for winter.
Correct. Can you
but
feel?
then I fly to the coast, and then what happens?
Well, the coast also depends on the grass, right? So when it's summer, bro, that's so good. So when it's summer, let's call it at KZN, it's super wet and soft, then you would like the higher bounce. And then in winter, it's cold and firm again and very hard pan, it's the same. The only opposite would be to Cape Town, the Cape. They're opposite to our winters and summers. My man. Okay, now we've confused the pot a little bit. Do your little
Which one you
floaters, a little higher flopper shot.
Goodness. Listen, this
So
thing's
here's
making
the
me
thing,
look
right?
good, eh?
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Those type of shots in summer, you DED.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's super soft. So it's all it's going to do is dig.
Dig.
Because of the sharp leading edge. So just pay attention to that. So this is so good. But just pay attention. Okay, I want you to try get a little steep on this next chip. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So back foot,
more back foot, yeah.
and steep, and try
Get aggressive.
get aggressive and steep on it.
Yeah, there's it. That's what I don't want. So
And this is semi-firm right now. In summer, that thing is staying right here.
Yeah, the ball's here. And I'm picking up the divot.
Correct. Correct. So do it again. But that is that's the one thing with the full bounce.
The full bounce, yeah.
That makes a lot of people nervous.
Yeah, but still didn't.
But there you saved it with your hands. I could see it. You like.
Yeah, like scoopy scoop.
Yeah.
But I'm of the notion that I want to be able to play golf with 9 hours sleep, fine. But my 3-hour weekend sleeps, I want to be able, morning tee off,
Yeah.
I still want to hit the perfect shots.
Yeah.
So
you know what? You know what's a nice thing about the fitting, right? I've guided you in a direction. You at the end
It's
of the
up to
day is
me
going
that
to choose the
matters.
wedge. I'm not going to say, right, I think this. You know your courses that you play. That is so crisp. You know the type of chips you want to play, and you obviously need to know the limitations.
Exactly.
You're
So
not
tell me
gonna play that steep shot in summer, and you're gonna expose the leading edge, and you know you're gonna duff it. You're gonna play something else, or maybe play a sand wedge that's got a bit more bounce, and that's gonna save that club from digging.
So tell me, on a lower bounce, if I'm hitting a full shot, your 80 meters, like my lob wedge goes 80, that's my number. I know where to go and bring it in. Is now having less bounce, I'm bringing in some problems.
You're going to bring in some duffs, and you're going to bring in a lot of.
Over there?
Yeah, let's go to that. Let's hit that full shot. And now here's the thing: it's technique again. Are you steep or shallow? Because if you were shallow, I would say you would be fine for the 4. If you were steep, I would say we'd have to go back to the 8.
Exactly.
I want you to chip it to the back edge of that, because that's about 60 meters.
Yeah. Oh no.
That one is for the reals.
So scared of that.
That one is for the reals.
Sorry, Monet.
That one is for the reals.
See, I need the forgiveness.
So here's the thing, right?
That's why I asked this question.
Now you scared with the education that you know about the wedges. You are so scared to go steep. So you came out of it
I came out trying
to not make yourself look stupid with the duff. Makes sense. So yet again, when we move to the studio and we hit from there, we're going to go run through the fuller shot options.
It's better, but the flight's too low. It's on the number. It's on the flag.
Yeah.
But the flight's too low. So I wouldn't be confident with that shot.
No.
To be dead honest.
And then obviously in summer, when the surface is wet and you've got like a 70, 80 meter, that leading edge is just going to dig all day.
Exactly.
And you're going to take half a meter divots.
But look at that divot on a wedge shot. Isn't ideal.
So you're on the semi-steeper side of the fuller shots? And
Seems so.
Yeah. And I saw you earlier warm up with a couple of shots, and I could see your attack angle patterns a little bit. So
that actually speaks to my irons. My irons are, they standard from 4 till 7. My 8 iron is 2 degrees stronger. My 9 pitching gap is all 1 degree stronger.
So you're removing bounce. So you're making the leading, you're exploding the leading edge. So if your pitching wedge is, let's call it a 8 bounce, and you go a degree stronger, you're moving it to a 7 bounce. But it's irrelative because the club is designed not like a bladed wedge. Do you know what I'm saying? To help. There's a lot of technology in the heads to assist with strike as well. Okay, so now I want you to go to the mofo grind.
Monet, I promise I can play.
I want you to hit it towards Monet and see if this is a lot more comfortable for you.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear to that sound?
Yeah, but it was a lot more comfortable. I'm like, look.
But that sounded like some crispy onion.
Yeah.
You know, with the other one.
Because now I don't have to worry about any leading edge. Just worry about hitting it center, boy. That's all.
The 4 is great for winter. Like if I was you,
the greens. Yeah.
If I was you, if you play a lot more golf in winter than summer, I would maybe purchase a 4 bounce, and that would be your winter club, and then this would be the rest. You get what I'm saying? Bro, that's on the number. Okay.
My ego says, look, take the 4, you be sexy.
But summer, bro, you're gonna struggle. Yeah. Summer, you're gonna start developing chipping hips.
And then,
because here's the thing with me. The thing is with me with a 4 bounce, like, just whether this is on camera or not, it's irrelative. I'm so shallow on a chip. I don't even take divots.
So the 4 is perfect.
The 4 is perfect in summer and in winter. So when we go down to the studio just now, we're going to obviously go through your gapping. Okay. Everyone, like I said, wedges is a personal thing again. Based on your spec, I would probably go 50, 54, 60. And I need to measure what your pitching wedge is sitting at, so then we know, do we bend your 50 to 49, remove 1 bounce, do we go 48, 48 to 49, that's on the gap wedge, and then we'll know which stand wedge between the gap wedge and lob wedge. So let's start off with the 54, and we've got the 8 bounce here, we've got the 10, and we have the 12 bounce here, and we even have the 14. Question on your sand wedge, is it more of a higher shot, bump and run, full shot golf club?
So it's more because as soon as I'm within 80, the 60 comes out, because that's the guy.
Okay.
And then, I mean, from 90, I can choke it down, choke the 56, 54, whatever I have at the time, choke it down. I can manipulate the 90-meter shots. Okay. My full shot is 105.
Okay.
I can force it to a 110.
Okay. And then around the greens, if you use it?
I told myself I need to start using it more.
Okay, so you don't use it right now a lot. So that's also a key factor on deciding on your sand wedge.
Yeah.
So do you take, if you steep, do you take a higher bounce sand wedge?
Because I'm hitting it from far. Because
you're hitting a fuller shot, and you don't want it to dig and duff and hit huge divots and have a lot more crisp contact. If you're just gonna, if it's a 3/4 to full shot, we're gonna start looking at maybe the 12 F grind, or that would be the starting point. If you use it for a full to chip around the green often, then we need to obviously play around and see, do we go low, high, mid, in between, etc. So based on your comment, I'm gonna start you off with the 12 bounce, on that you hit it more full. And here's the thing, you don't use it a lot, but use it right now around the greens on the chip. Good time to start practicing your bump and runs.
Yeah, look, I told myself the only way.
On a show, on camera, no pressure. And then we'll hit a couple of 60-meter shots as well, just to feel, I mean, we sort of know which direction we're going to go based on your comment, but...
I stood up on that. Yeah. See, so that's the reason I'm not using a sand wedge around the greens for now. Okay. It's landing position. Whereas on a 60, I can spin it and say, right, you're going to stop within 15 centimeters.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Can
Not
feel
bad.
The spin on this face. Nah.
You're coming up a lot, up quite a bit. You know why? Because you're tentative, you don't play the shots a lot. So I'm putting you under the gun. So do me a favor. Hit it towards that green. It's probably going to be a little further than that lob wedge shot. So can you see the S400 has got more of a lower to mid ball flight.
But it stops where you want it.
Yeah, it's going to have action because the wedge is doing its work.
And the shaft stayed with me.
Correct.
So whereas the S200, I feel like it's
scoopy. So the S200 is 120, the S400 is 130. The S200 is going to feel softer, okay, versus the heavier shaft, because the head is obviously going to kick the shaft more, even though they're both stiff flexors. So that's why when it comes to full shots, softer shots, I manipulate the wedge shafts based on the type of wedge you're going to use for different shots.
See, so the thing is with my wedges, I'm so confident in the distance that if I can feel it coming properly, if I can feel the head coming,
it's delivering and it's direct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm leaning towards the S400.
Correct. Well, that's good point that we went straight into the shafts. Good time to chat about that now. Talking about the different shafts, just because you're purchasing 3 wedges, you don't necessarily mean or have to have the same shafts in your Gap, Sand and Lob Wedge, because it's different purpose shots. Your Gap Wedge is a fuller shot club, so I tend to want to match it very close to your iron shafts, if your iron shafts are correct. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So if you had to play with a LZ 120, for example, I'd probably want to put the LZ 120 into your Gap Wedge. Into your Gap Wedge only.
Yeah.
Okay? Because a Gap Wedge is a full shot club. And then also if you use a Gap Wedge to bump and run and you put an iron shaft into a Gap Wedge, it's very firm. It's not going to spin as much as a wedge flex shaft.
Now your hands are
S200. It's the purpose of that golf club is to bump and run, because that's why you're selecting the golf club.
Yeah.
So it's irrelevant to around the green. You're not going to take a 50 and try to Peter check spinner.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So then obviously, depending on the sand wedge again, how you use your sand wedge, we might go into an S400 because you want that low to mid ball flight. Right. You want something a bit more directed impact and stable, but it's a wedge flex shaft. Like, do you know what I mean? It's designed for wedges, the specific S400.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously, if you like to do those little floater and feely shots, the S400 is going to be a little heavy because it's a very direct shaft. So then maybe the S200 is going to be
in the 60.
In the 60 because you feel a lot more because of
just
the weight.
60. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's why Vokey, their stock stuff come up with the Vokey S200, because it's an all-round good performance shaft. The only time we start changing is due to speed and technique and different types of shots that we start manipulating the golf shots. So it's very valid.
That being said,
it's huge.
So now that you say it, I mean, my 60 is very touchy-feely.
Yes.
Which is the S200.
Yes.
My 54 and Gap, that is my full shots.
Correct.
So I'm going to need the same resistance or same...
You want something that's more stable.
Yeah, stability.
So think about it like this. If you have an S200 versus an S400, the S400 is a lot more heavier and firmer shaft.
As soon as I hit the first shot, I said, wait man, the shaft is different.
And you can feel the weight difference. So it's going to be very direct and nice through impact on the full shot. It's a full shot golf club or a full shot shaft. The S200 is an all-round performance. It's very good for full shots, but also very good around the greens, because that's where the bread and butter is generally.
Exactly.
And they've designed the wedges around that, but speed can sometimes outperform the shaft. You get what I'm saying? Due to force. So that's when manipulating the shaft is really crucial.
But you're not going to put speed in your 60. You're not going
to hit your 60 120%. Let's say you hit at 90. Are you going to try it at 110?
It's so stupid.
No, so you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We've done the Lob Wedge and the Sand Wedge, and now we're going to move to the Gap Wedge. Obviously, the important thing about the Gap Wedge especially is it marries to the rest of the clubs. So for example, if you hit your pitching wedge 130, you need a 120 club, or closest to 120. Yeah. So obviously, different golf clubs have different lofts. So you get modern lofts, which are stronger, so 43, 44 degrees, and then you get traditional lofts, 45, 46, 47 going up.
Correct.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, your 770 is 46 bent to 45, so and technically we're going to be looking for a 50 degree and search for the distance. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to mention shafts and heads just now. I just want a couple of good strikes, get an average distance, see what's your gap wedge distance, your pitching wedge distance, so that we can find the right gap wedge distance.
Perfect.
Decent strike?
Yeah.
Golf course strike?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the flag spin.
Okay, so 114. Don't try kill it, just hit normal golf course
normal,
swings.
that I can swing for 18 holes.
Yeah.
A bit
thin, but I feel like there's enough of it.
Should be.
It's going to be close to that number.
Same distance.
Actually, a little further, 119.
The bounce got exposed there.
Yeah. Okay,
that's
good.
120.
Okay, good strike. So it's pretty simple. I'm happy to use those 3 shots. It's pretty much an average.
120.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not too shabby.
Your average is probably about 118 to 120. So we're searching for a 110 club, 108, 110 club. So 108 on the bad strike, 110 on the good strike. So it goes 110, 120, 130. Makes sense.
Perfect. And so with this information, I now know that where my 99 should be.
Yeah, so your 99 should be about 10, 12 further, depending on strike.
132 is my 99.
Okay, so it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, it sounds weak, but
that's fine.
I beat many a chap.
Yes, a long hitter.
Yeah.
Straight is great.
Straight.
Long is wrong. Okay, so we've got the 50 degree here with an S400. We did on the chipping green discuss shafts and the importance of shafts. Me personally, the way you hit the sand wedge with the S400, I would like to probably go into an S400 in the gap and sand and the S200, and I think you agree with me as well. You want a nice, direct, compact shot for full shots because you use the gap and sand more for fuller shots, and the lob wedge obviously for pitches, chips, bunker shots.
Exactly.
So we're going to put it on now. You can hit that. Change this to a gap wedge quickly, 50 degree. So obviously your current pitching wedge is 45, so it makes sense. So in a perfect world, 45, 50, 55, 60. Makes sense.
Perfect.
Some people
I'll leave a 54.
Some people like having a degree strong in the 54 because it's used for some fuller shots and they look for a certain number. Exactly. I do that personally myself. So there's no right and wrong, but just explaining it in layman's terms. Feel good.
That felt good, eh? That shaft it's reactive, it's there.
Okay, so 103, hit another one.
But that was a bit bouncy.
Okay.
Fat.
Just forget about that. Pay attention to that, but forget about that. I want you to hit this now, I don't want you to look. Don't want you to look at the head, I want you to look at the shaft. Just go based on feel quickly. Want to see something? Listen, a 104 heavy is not bad, so we know we can get it to 108, 110 on a good strike.
Yeah.
But I've spiced something up there quickly.
It makes me wonder about the S400 shaft for that full shots.
That's exactly what I'm testing now. Remember, mats is also a bit different to surface. The reason why I like doing it here is our variables never change.
That felt so much better.
Okay. So that's almost going as far as your pitching wedge. But here's a funny thing now. So the 50 degree had a S400. And I'm probably wrong about this, and we need to discuss this, and this is the importance of trying different shafts. So you're not that fast in terms of club head speed. So it's all relative to now shafts. You can't really play a 130 gram shaft if you're not swinging it fast enough to generate power, force, etc.
And on the 17th hole, I still want to be able to hit the right.
Yeah, you might be tired by the 17th hole. So what I've changed there is now it's a S200 shaft. So it's 10 grams lighter, easier to hit, and it's a wedge flex shaft. And we've discussed wedge flex versus something heavier and tighter, etc. And that's going as far as your pitching wedge. That's a 48 degree, your pitching wedge is 45. You've got 3 degrees bounce, 3 degrees loft between yours and this, and it's very similar distance. So what is the variable that's helping this whole golf club?
The shaft.
The shaft. So the 50 degree in the S200 is probably better for you based on club head speed. If gave me this club head speed and I didn't see you hit, I would go S200 all the way out of textbook method.
Agreed.
Do you know what I'm saying? So,
because I do, yes, I could muscle S400.
But you don't hit it 120%, nothing. So you don't need to muscle anything.
I don't want to do that, yeah.
So the S200 is great.
Perfect for me.
Less hard work and. So.
And the numbers there.
Carry on hitting that quickly.
It was fat, but I still got through it.
Yeah.
It's definitely more I don't have to labor. I don't have to labor through it. Earlier, I was full of energy also. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Teethy.
Not bad though.
Yeah, it's about 5 meters short.
Yeah, it's still doing what it needs to be doing. So 106, not the best strike. And we're looking for 108, 110, right? So it's actually very simple, to be honest. Better strike.
Yeah, that's a 110, definitely.
Strike's improved with the shaft, right?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Without a doubt, 110, exactly. So I know that it's...
Okay, hit this quickly.
I'm not gonna look.
Don't look, yeah.
Yeah. But TC, but it's still gonna go. And 102.
104. So just quickly, 52 degree. 50 degree is definitely the number that we're looking for. Yeah. Tried the 48, we've tried the 50.
The 50?
The 52.
With the S200.
The 50 has the S400 and it's not giving us resistance.
Yeah.
So if we strengthen this by 2 degrees with that distance, we're going to get you a 110 number. So 50 degree S200, I think we're going to go
Gap Wedge is 110.
Yeah, 110, 120, 130, rough plus minus due to strike. So pretty simple. So it just shows you the importance of doing it this way, just to conclude. At the top there, we thought S400 on the gap and sand wedge based on just hitting 3/4 shots and stuff like that.
We have Sunday lunch.
Correct,
come back,
halfway house.
A little bit out of breath. So and now the results are here.
And listen, you don't want to make it tougher, right? This is a wedge shaft designed for Vokey to be a rounded product to make it easier with performance and just to make it very simple. S400 is slightly heavier, slightly tighter. It's a more direct shaft, but when you're tired and have an off day, you're going to know about it.
So just now when I was awake and so on, that was the fun night.
And probably you were excited, right?
Yeah, adrenaline's going.
Correct, and camera shy in the beginning. So pretty simple. So I think we can conclude on that. Very excited for you to get your wedges.
Thanks, man.
Any other questions?
About balls? Just based on your knowledge with the way I chip around the greens and approaching the greens, what do you suggest ball-wise?
So based on your club head speed and ball flight, obviously you start from a ball fitting around the greens and you move yourself back. So you start from putting, chipping, through pitching, all the way to irons and then driver last. So based on, we haven't done a full test on it, from based on I see the way you chip, the way you look for that performance around the greens, and judging by your ball flight, you definitely need the higher spinning, higher launching golf ball. So Pro V1X is definitely the one for you. You like hitting those nasty, you know, little spinners, Peter checks.
Natty dirty.
Yeah. And I think that spin control for you will be crucial around the greens because you're looking for that spin, you're not looking for that release.
And spinning now with my new wedges.
Correct. And then obviously judging by your ball flight, I would like you would get actually more distance if the ball spinning more, but not just spinning more, launching a bit higher because it stays in the air a little longer, and then it'll actually get to maximum ball speed and maximum distance.
And choose the distance and land and
correct.
Stop.
So just talking about that ball, based on judging your ball flights, I know you're quite a flat hitter. I think just by changing that ball, you're actually going to increase those distances on your stock items. So the 110 will probably get to 115. The 120 will probably get to 125 because now the ball's not falling out of the sky. It's staying up in the air.
Balls, like the other balls are actually designed to.
Correct. So a little bit more spin stays in the air and actually gets a better carry. But all in all, pretty simple.
Jeez, thanks, man.
Thanks for your time.
That was helpful. Thank you for your time.
Hope you learnt a lot. And we'll see you next time on the show.